Thank you for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. This is episode number 250, Broken People. We've been talking about broken things this week, broken places, broken pieces. Sometimes we really come across broken people. When someone goes through something so traumatic or a series of traumatic events, there are times literally their psyche splits. It can't endure it, and they become schizophrenic. Those people are noticeably broken, and it's rather obvious to the whole entire wide world. Sometimes in the old days, people would have what would be called a nervous breakdown. In other words, they couldn't really handle emotionally or psychologically what was happening to them, and they would just fall apart. They would become hysterical. They would sometimes become really unreasonable. They would do wild and crazy things. Sometimes people really become broken. If you've been anywhere in the world much at all, you're pretty aware of this, that people can get broken. Now, I'm going to state this to you, and it's really kind of a scary thought as a parent, but I hope in a sense that it's a reassuring thought as well. People will frequently say, oh, kids are resilient, they'll be fine, they'll get over it, they'll recover. Well, not always, because some kids are more fragile than others, and some kids are not nearly as strong or as internally composed as others. So some kids really do get broken. It's really the truth. But in general, children recover more readily, I wouldn't say more quickly necessarily, than adults. And they have a pretty huge capacity to start every day as a new day and not drag quite so much stuff with them. Now, if a child is repeatedly molested or abused or misused, that's going to start to wear on them. And it's going to, that fear and that worry and that paranoia almost is going to drag into the next day. But in general, if a child really goes through something quite traumatic in a relatively short period of time by comparison to an adult, they're going to recover it and they're going to get back their great attitude and they're going to move on. We adults, maybe because of the sheer number of years and number of incidents, it's tougher for us at times to move on. But people really do get broken. And it is not the same thing for every person. For some people, it might only take one incident and it's enough to do it to them. And for some people, it may be years and years and years and years and years that they can tolerate, but they hit this breaking point. Here's what I want you to know. Things are fixable. In fact, on the next video, so look for episode 251, we're going to talk about fixing that which is broken. But this is what you have to know. Just because something happened that broke you, whether it broke your will or it broke your spirit, it broke your health, it broke apart parts of your mind, one can be healed and certain things can be reintegrated. So, with a person who has MPD, multiple personality disorder, true MPD, not the wild and crazy fake stuff that you sometimes see or read about, when someone does, they in fact can be reintegrated. I have a really good friend who, in fact, had a number of different personalities and over years of counseling and therapy was, in fact, reintegrated into one whole person and loved it and thought it was an amazing experience and didn't know what it was like to have that holistic sense and feeling of the world. So even broken people can be repaired. Now here's what I want you to know. A, do your best not to be the source of some other person's brokenness. Don't do that to people, especially not to your children. B, if you do something that really seems as though it has broken someone or contributed to their brokenness, make sure that you make it right. Apologize, admit to what you did, ask forgiveness, be part of the healing for them in order that they don't have to remain broken or continue in a pattern of brokenness. Those words, I was wrong, I am sorry, are really far more powerful than most of us imagine. Learn to say them, Learn to say them well. If you work with a person who's broken, and it's rather obvious in a work situation, the places or the manner in which someone is broken, you want to be gentle with them and you want to encourage them to get some help. As I said, if you broke your foot, you probably wouldn't run around on a broken foot and act like you were fine. You would take yourself to the doctor, let them set the thing, put them in a cast, endure 6 or 10 weeks of what you have to do in order that it can heal properly. There is nothing wrong with getting help, going to a counselor, going to a trustworthy pastor, going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, getting some help with what happened to you in order that you can be healed. So you can encourage the person who's around you that's broken to get some help and use that exact illustration. If it were your hand or your foot, you would go to the doctor and let them help you. Please let someone help you with this. There are people who can. So when we deal with broken people, we need to know this. Be kind. Be gentle. If you were dealing with a person who had this massively broken leg and they had bones sticking out and the tissues are all torn open and it's bleeding all over the place, you wouldn't be yelling and screaming at them. I don't know what's wrong with you. Get off your butt. You can walk. You're fine. Deal with it. You would not be pulling that junk because you would see that it's awful. Sometimes we only see the results in broken people, and so we want to yell at them. You just need to grow up. You need to get over it. You need to move on. You need to deal. Please remember in your mind that they are probably doing the best they can, and you want to be kind and you want to be gentle. You do want to help them, and it may take a little bit of a push, and I acknowledge that to you. But keep the picture in your mind of that broken leg, and you wouldn't be yelling and screaming at them to get up and move on. You would be kind and you would be gentle. You would acknowledge, man, it's got to hurt like crazy. I can't even dream what that must be like. And you can say those kind of things to them. I can't even imagine. I'm sure that was really painful. I'm so sorry that that was what happened to you. But I still want to see you get some help. And I really want to help you come to a place of healing. My question for you today is, are you broken? Is there someone in your world, in your sphere, who is obviously broken? And what are you going to do about that? If you are broken, are you going to commit to go and get some help? If you're the person who contributed to someone else being broken, are you going to work at making this right and helping them heal? And if there's someone in your world who is broken and obviously in pain and really struggling, are you going to encourage them and support them? Be gentle and be kind in helping them get somewhere where they can get help so that they might heal? One of the greatest things we can do is pray for someone. You can literally pray for someone by reaching out and holding their hand and talking to God about healing that place in them that was broken. You can continually pray for them in your private prayers and ask God to bring healing to them, strengthen them, give them grace and help. And you can certainly show them support, encouragement, love, kindness, compassion, and be interested in their healing. Thank you so much for joining me today on Paint a Beautiful Picture. I will look forward to seeing you again soon. You may find additional information on our paintabeautifulpicture.com website. Additionally, you may watch me on Rumble, and you may also listen to a podcast on Buzzsprout or Spreaker, all under the name Paint a Beautiful Picture. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. You may subscribe, and if you are interested in receiving notifications, please hit the notifications button.